Hey, Cammy, how are you today?
I'm great, Karen. How are you today?
I am fantastic. Welcome, everybody, to Dr. Cammy and Karen Go Keto. This is our YouTube channel where we are documenting our transition into a ketogenic lifestyle, possibly carnivore lifestyle. And today we haven't uploaded anything for a while because my mom went into the hospital. And life, this is part of what we're talking about today. Life happens. Sometimes it looks like it gets in the way and throws you for a loop. She's coming home from the hospital today, so that's our good news, and she's doing fine. But, you know, here's one of the things. I'm just going to dive right in, Cami. Well, first of all, we want to say this is not medical advice. This is just our journey. Even though Cami is a doctor, this is just our journey into transitioning to our ketogenic lifestyle. If you want to come along with us, hit that subscribe button. We'd love for you to come with us and subscribe and comment and love us and let us love you. So at the hospital the other night, after talking to you about not having had Diet Coke for, like, what did I say, 4 days or whatever, 5 days,
Yep.
I had a Diet Coke because I grabbed a pizza. The pizza was the only thing they had left. And I knew it was disgusting, right? It was sitting on the counter under a heat lamp, but it was late and I'd been at the hospital for a long time and I was hungry. And I I regret having done it. I wish I hadn't done it. I wish I had just gone home and gone to bed. But I grabbed that, and just out of habit, I grabbed the Diet Coke. Just like, oh, I got pizza in my hand, I grabbed the Diet Coke. So not present to the moment and not up to whatever I'm up to, right? Just doing this old habit that I always did in the past. And I just wanted to bring the transition. I totally feel like this is a transition. It's going to take, it's probably always going to be a transition, right? We'll transition
hmm
to one stage and then another stage and then another stage. Um, to a place where we feel comfortable, where our bodies look the way we want them to look, they move the way we want them to move, they support us the way we want them to support us. Did you hear a beep?
Yeah, that was just an email coming in. Sorry, I think
Oh,
I'm going to turn my phone off. That'll help.
okay. Yeah, because it came out really loud in my thing. So anyway, that is just how life happens. And your bad, what I would call my good habit that I was living under of not drinking any Diet Coke for quite a few days, just boom, out the window when put under pressure. So just be on the lookout for that. And that, is an eye opener for me. Not that I didn't know that before, but I did start looking at things as being a little different. So, Cammy, I'm going to throw it over to you. Let's talk about what's happening for you in the last few days.
Yeah, I think that you're bringing up a really good topic because when we are under pressure, that's what you said. You're under pressure, you're under stress, and this is what life does give us. Day in and day out, we have to deal with what's going on in our lives, and I think that for me, the two big topics, the two big things I wanted to bring up under this eating when you're not eating low carb and you're under stress is looking at the long term goal. And the other day, when I had discussed in another video that I was able to avoid a binge, that was the biggest thing that I think really helped me get through it was following that all the way to the end. Like, what was I going to feel like? How was I going to look in the long run? How was it going to affect my sleep and my body and my emotions and my feelings? Excuse me. And being able to follow it through long term, I think is helpful. Sometimes it's not enough and you're going to go do it anyway. But I think that can be helpful in delaying it or preventing us to do something that we don't, want to be eating. And the other thing that I think is really important too is forgiving ourselves when we do because I can be really good at beating myself up and saying, oh, you did this. Oh, this wasn't a good thing for you to go eat. why don't you just go ahead and go eat this or this? Or you don't deserve to be healthy and, thin, or you don't deserve this. And that negative self-talk, which is much less now in my life, thank God, for a lot of different reasons. That would be a great topic too, is being, just being able to say, yes, that wasn't the best thing for you to be eating at that moment. Maybe I shouldn't have been drinking that Diet Coke. I actually had a Diet Coke through the McDonald's line the other day. I went in line to order an unsweetened iced tea with lemon and came out of there with a Diet Coke. And luckily, I drank the Diet Coke and didn't proceed to do anything else after that. So I think I was able at that point to go ahead and say, yes, this wasn't the right choice. This wasn't the healthiest choice. But I was able to just move on from there into healthier ways. And I think that being able to forgive, myself and ourselves for those indiscretions that we have and being able to move on in the healthiest way possible is really, really important for us to work on doing.
I
So,
think you bring up two really good things right there. And one of them is I don't know, in a community and in support of one another, right? The reason why we started this channel was to be held accountable. And I think it's working perfectly for doing that, right? What's interesting is, though, I know that part of it is when we talk about foods or when we watch each other, we sometimes think, oh, like when you talked about the Diet Coke and you got that instead of the unsweetened iced tea. That's something to review and maybe evaluate and reflect on and put it in your journal as to why did you make that change. It could have been because you and I had been talking about Diet Coke. And it could have been because I told you I'm still drinking it, or it could be because I told you I'm not drinking it, right? So we never know what those triggers are that make something stick in our mind that all of a sudden it seems that our choice becomes something other than what it initially was going to be, right? If we choose a ketogenic lifestyle, but we're eating pizza, obviously that is inconsistent. But one of the things that you say is forgiveness, and that kind of makes this look like there's a perfection aspect to it, right? Like there's a transgression or a sin. And I feel like that's so harsh, right? I think that we need to start, besides, and this is the beauty of this channel and these conversations, is that it's not just the transition into the ketogenic lifestyle, right? Because in order to transition into that, we have to change our bad habits because we've lived with those for decades. And that, I thought it was going to be easy. It's not as simple and easy as I expected it to be. Um, but
mhm.
and I'm very happy to celebrate what I call those small wins of, having a Diet Coke in my refrigerator and not drinking it. And I'm having it there for a specific reason, to not drink it. So we'll see how long it sits in the refrigerator undrunk. So, but I feel like with this, that we are not striving for perfection, right? We shouldn't be. The ketogenic lifestyle is a low carb, high fat, generally high fat, higher protein, and just really restricted carbs. And you and I haven't even laid out what we're up to here on this channel as far as those numbers go. But I don't think that that's super important as far as these initial videos that we're doing, because I want it to be out there that the transition is what's key. And the transition is no Diet Coke for me. The transition is for you, no binges, and to, reflect on those and see how successful we are. So it's not a question of maybe forgiveness, but I remember reading somewhere that what you can only do your best, right? That if you do your best, if you make your best decisions, you will have your best life. And we don't know those little triggers of why the best decision was a Diet Coke for you. Or maybe we look at it and go, you know what? I'm settling for less. I'm settling for less. I'm settling for a Diet Coke instead of an unsweetened iced tea. And then you have to know why you're settling for less. What is your choice? Because
Exactly.
when you reflect on that and you find the answer to why did I choose to do something that is not really in the plan. And for me, I have not done this yet. um, I know that I will be much more successful and able to stay on track better if I have something written that I can go to every single morning and go, okay, this is, I know what I'm up to. I do that with my calendar, right? I open my calendar at night, see what I've done, make sure it's all taken care of, and what's not, I reschedule for some other day. And then in the morning, I wake up and I go, okay, let's see what's on the schedule. The first thing that should be on the schedule is, Karen, what are you up to for your food? If you want to transition into your ketogenic lifestyle, what's up?
Yeah, I think that's really key. We're still both working on food plans, and I'm doing pretty well with the food diary as far as what I do eat, and that's been able to shed a lot of information on, a lot of light and give me lots of information as to the way that I'm, doing my life. But I totally agree. I think thinking of a menu, a food plan as you do your calendar is a really good point that you bring up. And the night before, thinking about what you're going to eat the next day and putting it on a, pen to pen and paper or to your phone or whatever is something that we're both working on. And the other thing that I wanted to bring up as you were talking about, not thinking in terms of forgiveness, but I think you're right. I think that mindset means that I've done something wrong. And
Mm.
really, it hasn't been something wrong. It's just been something off plan. And if you do think that you're not going to be perfect on this plan, which, of course, if we're doing it for a lifestyle and forever, we will not be perfect because we are human. Um, I think maybe a better way to think about it would be in terms of, oh, I did not do the best self care that I could. And how you're talking about having the best life is by doing the best actions and by, not doing the best self care that I could by taking care of myself and making healthier decisions on the diet or the drink or whatever it is a better way to look at it. So thank you for that. And the other thing I want to bring up is the feeling of incongruency because when I am not, when I really have been appreciating when I feel congruent, like when I'm, doing my weight resistance training, and I have Jeff helping me with my nutrition and my exercise, and I'm looking at results, and I'm feeling better, and I'm, you know, seeing some inches come off slowly, and some weight come off slowly, and muscle increase, and those kinds of things. We have to have we have to have
Yeah.
a video talking about that stuff because it is kind of slowly happening and it's really exciting. Um, that I feel so congruent and I feel so good and I feel in the groove and I feel on my beam. I call it my beam, and I'm, running my life on my beam. It's such a good feeling. And and I have to remember that because I'm so critical of myself. I'm so hypercritical. I'm like, oh yeah, you did this, or you did this, but that. And I need to remember, hey, when I'm generally on that beam, I need to be grateful and happy about that because it really is a wonderful thing to be doing. And it's not easy. Life comes at you. So feeling congruent is much more comfortable for me now than being incongruent in my life and having things not be up to my master plan. And that has taken time. It just takes time. It takes experiences where some are congruent. Sorry about the buzz. And some aren't. And we need to just remember that and be grateful for the times when we happen and when they do happen, in line.
Well, I think, and we'll wrap this up in just a couple minutes, but I think what you're pointing out, Cammy, is that incongruency. Um, and I'm not a binge eater like you were, but I do know that I make bad choices. Like my Diet Coke, I consider a bad choice. And my pizza, yes, I guess pizza has to be a bad choice. And
With the
my,
crust.
yeah, my chocolate malts, right? So I haven't had a chocolate malt and I don't even know how long. But and that's the funny thing because that incongruency, I think what you've described when you've described your binges is that you make a decision and then you go for it and you're like nobody can talk you out of it, right? And what you're saying in that is that you know that that whatever you do, you can turn a blind eye to that incongruency. that, that inauthenticity. You are willing to shut down to that. But now I think you're saying something different. I think now you're saying, when I open my eyes to the incongruency, it's okay for me to feel uncomfortable, because now I know how good it feels when I'm not feeling that.
And that's a choice that I can make.
Right, right. And the more you are saying, hey, I'm not going to turn a blind eye to my bad decisions. I'm not just going to, wallow in this sugar rush. That's clearly what I was doing with my chocolate balls. But you are okay with, either being uncomfortable, doing it anyway, right? But whatever it is, you just have more presence to it, and that makes it easier to say, to not want those feelings at the next time.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, all right. Well, I think we should say goodbye. I'm going to go pick up my mom at the hospital, and I know you have a busy day ahead of you.
All
Until
right.
next
Well, thank
time.
you. Thank you so much, Karen. And please subscribe, send us comments. We're very interested in knowing how you're feeling about our conversations that we've been having.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.